Hi everybody, it's Julie, Kansas City girl in a Colorado world. This is Flosstube number 71. Today is Wednesday, February 9th. February 9th. I'm hoping to keep this short, but I always say that. But I'm really hoping this time because it hasn't been as long since I last filmed, and I'm going to really try to film a little bit more frequently. Like I'm going to shoot for like every 2 weeks instead of every 3 or 4 because the videos are just getting so long. So I'm really trying. But thank you so much for the response to my last video, which was my first time ever doing a vlog style video. So I filmed that video Wednesday night before Thanksgiving in American Thanksgiving. And then I filmed it Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday of Thanksgiving weekend. And then I filmed little bits and pieces of my life, and then I pasted them all together in a video and released it. And I don't know if it's the majority, but I would say a lot of people like made a point to tell me that they really enjoyed that style of video. But it's a lot of work, and honestly, it was when I was editing it, it was so long. It was like 2.5 hours, so I had to cut out a lot of stuff. So that was kind of a bummer, but ultimately I just I guess it was an experiment. I'd never done it before. I didn't know how it was going to turn out, and so I think I erred on this side of like too much content because I was afraid I wouldn't have enough, and then I had too much and I had to cut a bunch out. So I think I whittled it down, but it was still a really long video. So anyway, it was fun. It was really fun, and I will definitely try it again. But I mean, my regular format is going to be like the videos like I always do. But I will definitely do a vlog style like here and there for fun. And I'm already planning to do one over Christmas. So Christmas is on a Friday. So I think I'll do like Thursday night, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So that'll be coming up soon. So yeah, so I just, anyway, thank you all for the comments. It seems like people were enjoying that. I did want to say real quick, I pulled a winner for the Stacy Dash Christmas at Hollyberry Farm, which was a giveaway from video before last, and I have not heard back. So the winner was Crafter with Fibro. So if you are watching, I did comment on your comment, but I know YouTube's really weird, and if you only use your account to like leave comments, you probably don't even see like when people reply. I don't know. So if you're watching, you won this chart. So comment down below and like maybe just like give me your email or something. Or if you're on Instagram, private message me on Instagram so I can get this chart to you. Because I want to get that to you before Christmas. Okay, so I have some finishes, really kind of surprise finishes. Inspiration struck, and I ended up designing some patterns that I had not necessarily had an intention of doing, but I just like, it like poured out of me. So I was inspired. So backstory for this first pattern. So Colleen, who is Rebel Stitcher on YouTube, and she is on Instagram, she is Moon Pie Fry, F-R-E-Y, Moon Pie Fry. I always want to say Frey because of Game of Thrones, but anyway, so Colleen, I was watching her Flosstube. It was a couple of Flosstubes ago because I think she films weekly. But anyway, she was stitching, I think it was a Scarlet Letter or Scarlet House. I think it was maybe a Scarlet House pattern that she was stitching, and it was like festive, Christmassy, ornaments, and she decided, and she explained on her video that she was going to change the words on the pattern to say, make the Yuletide gay. And she was going to do it in like rainbow floss. And so she was asking for suggestions on what was a good rainbow floss, which, if anyone's wondering, the recommendation that I and many other people made to Colleen was Threadworks Bradley's Balloons is a great rainbow floss if anybody's looking for one. And I got mine from an Etsy seller called Ancora, Ancora, Ancora Crafts on Etsy. She has an amazing selection of Threadworks floss if you're looking for it. So anyway, Colleen said that's what she was going to do with her pattern and asked for recommendations. And it's just like light bulbs started going off, and I was like, I want to do a pattern. I want to do like a Christmassy pattern that says, make the Yuletide gay. And like, I can see it. I can see it in my mind. So I messaged Colleen and I was like, you know, would you mind if I borrowed that idea from you? Because it's her idea. And she was like, I don't mind at all. Go for it. So I charted up a pattern and I stitched it. And this is stitched with DMC Etoile. I hope the sparkle will show up on camera because DMC Etoile has the most beautiful sparkle. It's not like DMC Metallics or like Krynic. It's not like super pow bling, but it's like a beautiful, subtle, shimmery bling. It's so pretty, and I love DMC Etoile. And I used all of these colors are DMC Etoile. So hopefully the sparkle is going to show up for you. And this is stitched on 32 count Picture This Plus Gothic. So this is a Hemlock Rye Stitchery pattern. And as you can see, it says make the Yuletide gay. And I have these beautiful snowflakes, and then we have some wreaths and candy canes at the bottom. And this pom-pom trim that I absolutely love and adore came from Joann's, and I got it last year. But they had it again this year. More to come on that. And I backed it with just some cute, like, leftover Christmas fabric from a couple years ago. But I think I got this at Joann's as well. But it was several years back. So, designed this, stitched it. Look at those little pom-poms. Absolutely love it. So this is DMC Etoile Blanc, which is the white. So let's talk about this for a second, because many people have commented that when you pick this up, this DMC Blanc Etoile, it looks gray. It does. When you're holding the skein in your hand, it's a light gray color, or it appears so. But when you stitch it, it does show up as white. DMC Etoile is a thin strand of cotton floss and then one strand of a metallic. And so when they're woven together, and that's your like one strand of your 6-strand etoile. So it's kind of like a springy, like kinky kind of floss. And so for the white, for the Blanc color, they don't have like an iridescent metallic. The metallic for the white is more silver, and that's what makes it, when you look at it to your eye, it looks gray. But when you actually stitch it, it is white. I don't know if this is going to show for you guys, or if this is even in focus. I can't tell from back here. But it's a strand of white with a strand of silvery sparkle. But when you stitch with it, it really does look white. So I just wanted to throw that out there, because I know a lot of people have said, I don't understand why DMC Blanc Etoile is silver. It stitches up white. But I love the effect, and I hope some of that sparkle is coming through for you guys. So I made this cute little pillow. I was super excited, super proud. And then I showed I mean, I showed a few friends, but I showed it to my friend Matt, and he is on Flosstube and Instagram. He is MBC Stitcher, and I'm going to link him below because I'm going to talk about him a lot in this video, actually. So he'll be linked below. But anyway, I showed Matt. I said, look what I did. And he was like, that's awesome. I love it. And he started telling me a story how I think when he was in college, he was in like the LGBTQ club at his college in law school. And he said that one year for their like Christmas party or something for Christmas, they had t-shirts made that said, "Don we now our gay apparel." And he said, you know, his vision for the t-shirt, which I don't think actually like came to fruition, but his vision for the t-shirt was like a reindeer sipping a martini. I think they ended up getting the t-shirts, but they didn't get the reindeer and the martini. It just said like, "Don we now our gay apparel." And so he told me that story, and I was like, okay, so this can't be a single pattern. We're going to need to do a series. I'm going to need to do "Don we now our gay apparel" as a pattern. So, so this one is courtesy of Matt, MBC Stitcher. This is a mystery fabric. It's just like a dusty denim blue. It's a 28 count. I do know that. This is a 32 count. So so the 28 count's just like slightly bigger. And this is also stitched with DMC Etoile. And as a nod to Matt, I have reindeers with martinis up at the top. And then I was feeling, so at this point I was like, okay, I'm going to do 3 of these. And they're all going to be like LGBTQ, like friendly, celebrating the season, celebrating my friends, and they all are going to feature the word gay, but I don't want anyone feeling left out. Like, I don't want like my trans friends or my gender fluid friends or my bi friends. Like, I don't want anybody feeling like they're not included in this. And I don't necessarily believe anybody would feel that way, but I felt like I just really needed in some way to represent some other identities. And so I did that with the sweaters here at the bottom. So this is gender fluid non-binary, this is trans, this is the all-inclusive pride flag, and this is our bisexual flag. So that was my little nod to all of my queer folk friends. And I love it. And this is backed in, again, leftover Christmas fabric from Joann's. So the trim, the pom-pom trim. So I got this red, white, and green trim at Joann's last year, and they have it again this year. They do, but my Joann's was already sold out of it. So when I went, I found the green, and that's fine. I love it. It's still adorable. So if you're sensing a theme here, there's a third, but let me just back up. So "Make the Yuletide Gay" is a line from the classic Christmas song, "Have Yourself a Merry Little Christmas," most iconically sung by Judy Garland in Meet Me in St. Louis. And then "Don we now our gay apparel" is from Deck the Halls. And so then again, I called on my friend Matt, MBC Stitcher, and I said, help me. I need a third. Like, I think this needs to be a trio. There has to be another Christmas song out there that has either the word gay or like some kind of connotation. And Matt pulled through and he found it for me. So this is from It's the Most Wonderful Time of the Year. And this is holiday greetings and gay happy meetings. I do realize this is maybe a little more obscure, but it is in the song. So it's like, I'm going to sing for you guys. I'm so sorry. Should I? I probably shouldn't. I shouldn't. But I've had enough wine that I think I will. It's like, with their holiday greetings and gay happy meetings, it's the most wonderful time. So this actually, I think, is my favorite. And I found red pom-pom trim. So I couldn't find the red, green, and white, but I've got red, I've got green, and then the red, green, and white. And this is on a mystery 32 count. It's like a dusty blue-gray. Again, all three of these are stitched with DMC Etoile. I hope that it's showing up. I hope you can see the sparkle. And this one features Christmas lights and presents, and it's super extra. It's super over the top, I understand, but I love it. This one is definitely my favorite of the three. So yeah, so we ended up, like I said, with a surprise trio of Hemlock and Rye Christmas patterns. There was supposed to be one. We ended up with 3. And these are going to be on my Gumroad, and I'm going to link that down below. These did not take long to stitch at all. Like this one, 2 nights, but I wasn't working on it that hard. I did this one in 1 day. And I think I did this one in 2. So these are totally like something you can get stitched up and displayed for the holidays. And I just absolutely love them. You do not have to use the DMC Etoile, but I highly encourage you because it is just, it's so fun and it's so festive and it just really like fits this season. My friend Victor, flawedsir on Instagram, he is, first of all, he's like the fastest stitcher ever. It's actually like scary how fast he can stitch. And I was showing him these as I was designing them, and he's like, yeah, I need those. So I actually sent him the patterns as I designed them. And he stitched all of these in 1 night. And he actually stitched Dawn We Now Are Gay Apparel before I even had it done. So these are totally like quick but fun little projects. So cute. I cannot wait to display these. So a little bit about my Gumroad. So it's Hemlock and Rye Stitchery, and it's on Gumroad. And the reason I use Gumroad instead of something like Etsy is because oh, I don't think I showed you the back of this one. Sorry. Squirrel. Ho, ho, ho. Okay, so the reason I like Gumroad is because, first of all, they take less of a fee than Etsy. I think Etsy is something crazy. I feel like they're like they take like 40% or something at this point. Gumroad doesn't take that much. But also what I like about Gumroad is it is name your own price. And so that gives me the ability to offer patterns for free. But if you want to pay for them, you can, but you don't have to. Whereas on Etsy, that's just not an option. So I'll link it below, but you go to Gumroad and you click on the pattern that you want, and then you just input the price. So you can put a 0 or you can put any number you want, and then you click, I think it's, buy this pattern, and then it asks you for your email. And then if you put 0, then you just hit purchase, and that's that, and they email you the pattern. And if you put an amount in, then it takes you to PayPal or whatever. But like always, these patterns, I want my patterns to be free. If you want to pay me for them, you can, but you don't have to. And I just wanted to throw out there that I am planning to make a donation to an organization that's local to me. If you do feel compelled to pay for these patterns, I think that I'm going to donate all of the profits to this organization. And even if you guys don't pay, if you put 0 for them, which is fine, I'm still going to make a donation to this nonprofit. But I'm just throwing that out there. If you do pay for these patterns, like, proceeds are not going to go to me. So I'm going to donate to a place called the Alexander Foundation. They're local-ish. They're based out of Denver, but they help people all over Colorado, including Boulder, which is where I live. And they are an organization that provides like grants and financial assistance and scholarships to LGBTQ plus individuals. So right now, like, they are doing a lot of like holiday assistance. I wouldn't call them grants, holiday relief maybe to people, and COVID relief too. But they also do a lot of like scholarship and education stuff as well, which I really like. They've given out, over the years, they've given out millions of dollars, all from donations, but then they give back to people in need. So I looked at a lot of organizations, but I like this one because they're not like any LGBTQ plus person can apply with them for anything. It could be, I need help with rent, I need help going to school, I lost my job, I need to make a car payment, I need food, like, just, it runs the gamut. But I like that they're kind of they're doing all the heavy lifting. I just need to give them some money and they're going to do the rest. So that's what I'll be doing with any proceeds, and just with my own like holiday giving. My hair. And I just want to say, and I've had a little wine. This may not come out as eloquently as I want, or I might cry, who knows. But I just want to say, I'm going to cry, damn it. If you are out there and you are struggling with this holiday season, because especially I know for some of my friends and loved ones, and even people I don't know, maybe your family is not accepting of who you are, and that can be hard year-round, but I know it can be really, really, really hard during the holidays. So I just want to say that I love you just the way you are, and I support you. If you need somebody to talk to, if you need something, just reach out. You can message me below, or you can send me a message through Instagram. I love you, and I'm here for you. I love you just the way you are. Big hugs. Let's just bring it in. Let's just have a big hug. Okay. Okay. I feel better. Lindy Stitches did that once on one of her videos not too long ago, where she just gave us all like a hug, and it really felt really good. So I hope that felt good for you guys too. Okay. Damn it. I knew I was going to cry. Okay, so let's show some more stitching. I finished one other thing. So those were my 3 big things that I finished. I also finished this Shepherd's Bush Mary Mary Bee pincushion. This was a kit that I found at my local thrift store. It's called the Craft Box. It's in Wheat Ridge, Colorado, which is just a suburb of Denver. And I found this kit for like, I think it was like $5. It included everything except for like the backing fabric. This was from Stash, but it included this beautiful silk ribbon, the beads, the linen, and all the floss. And it came out so cute. It was really, really, really fun to stitch. And I have a picture. Yeah. So, I think mine came out really pretty accurately close to that. This was a quick stitch, and I was really inspired with the finishing because I had never seen this or done this, but it's silk ribbon, and they said just bunch it up and then tack it down with a bead, and then just, you know, just bunch it and then put a bead to kind of hold it down. And I think it's so cute. So I'm definitely going to be trying that again. So really cute, festive, fun little stitch, and I'm really happy with it, and I think it came out so cute. So those are my finishes. So in 2 weeks, I finished all of those things. And then what else did I do? So my works in progress. So the big one is that on December 1st, part 4, oh, I lost my cover up here. You'll see what I'm talking about in a second. Part 4 of Dark Queen of the Seas Stitch Along came out. This is a stitch along hosted by Autumn Lane Stitchery. I'm just covering her up because I did the explicit version. Okay, so part 4 came out of this beautiful, they say she's not a mermaid, but we haven't got down here yet, so we just don't know. But it's very tempting to call her a mermaid, but they say she's not a mermaid. You can kind of see like a phantom outline. Some people have said maybe she's some kind of like tentacled octopus kind of thing. Anyway, so for part 4, we got her face and her hair. So there was this version, the purple version. There was also a blue version, which I don't have a printout of, but basically with blue hair and a different face. And the face is just like more severe. She's just a little, she's not like scowling, but she's just like a little scarier. I am absolutely blown away by the artistry. So Autumn Lane Stitchery is Cassandra and Aaron, which is a husband-wife team. So Aaron is the artist. He's got a background in art. He's a graphic designer. Like he is the artist. So he does all of the art, but his wife Cassandra is the stitcher, and she's been a stitcher forever. And at some point, like, I don't know if she just bugged him until he started designing stuff, or I don't know like where, they've explained it in a Flosstube, I'm sure, but I don't know exactly why. But at some point, like a year ago, he started making cross stitch patterns, and she stitches them and she guides him, and she's, you know, she's the stitcher. So she's giving him that direction of like, hey, that's not going to work for cross stitch. Like you need to change that, or, you know, I want to see this, I want to see that. So together, they make really quite incredible patterns. But I am so blown away at this pattern. It's absolutely insane. First of all, it's so fun to stitch. But just what he's done with the shading and the detail is just so, so incredible. And she has the most gorgeous face I've ever seen in cross stitch. Look at that. I haven't gotten that far yet, but I can't wait. I mean, she's just so beautiful. And as you're stitching it, like some of the color choices, you're like, what? But then when you like look back, like you like step back a foot or two, you're like, ooh, that's so pretty. So like when you're stitching her skin, there's like green and purple, and you're like, what? Like literally sometimes you're like, that, do I have the right color? Like that might not be right. But it all like melts together and it works. So I was all caught up. I had part 1, part 2, and part 3 done. And so now I've made a start on part 4. So I am stitching the explicit version of her. So you can see in the PG version, she is covered on her top, but in the explicit version, she is not. I have covered her for your sake, but she's so beautiful. Okay, so the hair. So charted as purple or blue. And I was all in on the purple hair. Purple's my favorite color, so I was down. I was gonna stitch her just like this. And then right before I started, my friend Victor, flawedsir, messaged me and he's like, hey, I know you saw the part 4. He said, so you're going to make her a redhead, right? And I was like, whoa, I hadn't thought of it. And he's like, yeah, no, you need to make her a redhead. And I was like, you're right. You're so right. And then I thought, you know what? I'm not going to make her like, you know, like my Snow Queen is like a nice auburn, like natural red. I was like, no, I want to do like Ariel red. I want to do like crazy red. And honestly, it ended up even more red than I meant. This is like atomic comic book red. And I absolutely love it. I'm obsessed. She's got a lot of hair. This was 3 days worth, I think. Maybe 2. But I think it might have been 3. And I've still got a lot to go. But I'm not complaining. Like, it's so fun to stitch on her, and she's so beautiful. But I do want to get to her face because it's so pretty. So I'm so pleased with how her hair is looking. I just absolutely love it. So after they released part 4 in the Facebook group, Erin and Cassandra were like, you know, fielding. I think some people were like, it would be really cool to see some other colors of hair. And, you know, people like me, like I just took it upon myself to rechart the hair. And Erin was like, you know, the hair only has 4 colors. Like, it's super easy. Like, if you guys want to change the hair, like, go for it. It's great. Go for it. But then he, like, couldn't help himself. He went above and beyond, and he recharted the hair with like a bunch. I think there's 10 different colorways. So if you go to their Etsy, there's like an extension pack, and he's got like all different other colors of hair besides the 2 that he created originally. So if anybody's stitching this and you're not in the Facebook group, go check out their Etsy and you can see that. But you should join the Facebook group because people are posting their progress there. So this is on the called for Under the Sea Fabrics. It is, I think it's called Bewitched, and it was the fabric she dyed just for this stitch along, and it's a 32 count linen, and it's gorgeous. I love this. I love this. I didn't want to put her down. I love her. I think she's like the only stitch along that I'm going to keep up with ever in my life. So, okay, so next I started a stitch along with my friend Matt, MBC Stitcher, who I mentioned earlier. So, I don't even remember why, but at some point we realized that we both, sorry, somebody's like pulling up right outside my window. At some point we both realized that we own this pattern, and we're just kind of like dragging our feet on starting it. So this is Ink Circle's Dog's Declaration. I've had this kitted up for like a year. And I kitted it up with all the called for Valdani flosses, which is like quite a list. And I just hadn't had like the push to start it. And then Matt was like, I'm going to start it soon. Like, let's do a stitch along. So I said, fine. So we started it on December 5th, I think, which is a Saturday. Unfortunately, I only got 1 day on this because I got super sidetracked with stitching up my patterns. But this is on 46 count Under the Sea fabrics in Properly Primitive, which is just the most beautiful neutral. It's a now somebody's like ringing my doorbell, and it might be the Amazon guy. It's this beautiful like neutral green and beige. It's so pretty. And so I only got to work on it like 1 night, but I got good progress on it. I chose this needle minder. So when I start a new project, I go like find a needle minder. And of course I try to find something that kind of is like goes with it, but that doesn't always happen. But I try. And so I was like, okay, what do I have that is, you know, that fits with this pattern or that reminds me of Matt. And I saw my RBG needle minder and I knew that was it, because Matt is a lawyer, and also Matt stitched my hair. Ugh. Matt stitched my pattern that I designed in tribute to Ruth Bader Ginsburg, which was called 9. So my pattern that says when there are 9. Matt stitched that. So I knew this was the one. So this needle minder is from It's Charm School on Etsy. She hand paints these needle minders. I absolutely love it. I love the way this is looking. But again, I only got a little start, but it's beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful. Okay, in my last work in progress, this is a present, and if she's watching, she's going to know it's for her, but that's okay, I don't care. This is from Cross Stitcher, December 2019. So this set of ornament, I think that, well, no, it's Christmas cards, but I'm going to make it an ornament. It's by Doreen Jones. They're really small. They stitch up really fast, and they're so cute. So I'm stitching this one. I want to do all of them, but I think for like this season, this Christmas, I'm just going to get to the one. But I'm almost done. This is a 28 count even weave. It's just like a dusty blue. I just have like the light blue to add in her skirt, and then I need to do all the backstitch, which is a ton of backstitch. And this is one of those patterns where backstitch is gonna just be insane. So it looks a little funny as it is, but once I put that backstitch in, it's gonna be so good. So that will be a finish very shortly. I'm hoping actually to finish it tomorrow. So those are all my works in progress. So that's all my stitching. I just want to show you guys a little bit of haul, and then we'll talk about books. So my haul is actually quite light because probably just the time of the year, but like I've ordered things and they've shipped, but they are not here. Things that should have been here by now. I have like 3 things that should have been here by now. Just waiting. I'm patient. I'm just like patiently waiting for them to turn up. But one thing that did ship and actually got in my hot little hands really fast was these needle minders from Delicious Threads. So she has her own like laser cutting machine. So she designs and cuts all of these wood needle minders out. And they're just so good. And she was doing a like small business Saturday sale, and I just could not resist. I've almost ordered these so many times. I've been to like Jen. I've been to your site so many times, and I put them in my cart, and then I've like been like, and then finally I was like, I don't care. I'm getting them. So I got Festivus for the rest of us. 100% That Witch, and That's What She Said. These are fandoms that I hold near and dear to my heart. If any of you are going to what? So Festivus is Seinfeld, the annual airing of grievances. This is a Hocus Pocus / Lizzo, 100% That Witch. And That's What She Said is Michael Scott from The Office. So I am super excited now that I've showed you guys these. I can get them out and use them, which is thrilling. I have such little haul. I only have 3 things. Like, you guys are just going to be shocked. So, okay, so there's a designer called Peacock and Fig, and she has her own website. And so sometimes she's not always on my radar as much because she doesn't sell on like Etsy, which is good. I mean, that's fine. That's fine because like we talked about earlier, Etsy. So anyway, these had slipped by. Like I hadn't seen them. And then I saw them and I was like, oh, I need those. So I printed these in black and white. So you'll get kind of the impression. This is her subversion on a classic sampler. It says, "Oh no, she better don't." And then this one makes me think of Kyle Reckemeyer, Stitching and Sound, who needs to make a Flosstube like months ago. Kyle, you need to make a Flosstube. Let us know what's going on in your life, Kyle. So this one, it will stitch so fast. On a scale of 1 to even, I can't. Like, this pattern is, it's going to be so quick. I'm actually excited. Like, I think it'd be like a 2-day pattern probably. So I got those. And then the last thing I have is, well, I have Stitchy Kindness. So I really only bought those 2 things. That was it. Okay. So my friend Nikki, she is the designer of Nikki's Creations. She's an Italian designer, and she comes to the United States probably a couple times a year. But when she comes for market in March, she always comes to Colorado like the week before and does a class here local to me. And so I've been to 2 of her classes now, and she's absolutely so lovely. She is a delight. And Nikki is stuck in Italy during the pandemic, obviously. So I actually, when I saw her this February of 2020, right before everything shut down, and that was probably, and then she went to market, and then like that was it. She made it back to Italy, and then everything shut down. So she still releases patterns. She has an Etsy where she releases patterns as PDFs, and she still releases like directly to shops as well. And so she sent me 2 of her new patterns to show, and they're both really, really, really lovely. And I believe that both of these are, you can call your local shop and get them that way. I don't think these are on her Etsy yet. They probably will be eventually, but I think she goes to shops first. So she has this one called Christmas Garden, and I really love this pattern. And I think I'm gonna need to stitch this. It's so pretty. It's so pretty. I love this little lady with her with her watering pail. And then I love the trees. And Nikki's patterns always call for DMC. I don't think she almost ever uses like fancy floss. Everything I have, she calls for DMC, but you get, I love the effect she gets with DMC. Like, you don't have to spend a lot of money on fancy floss. You can still get that beautiful, like, prim, more antique look with DMC. So she sent me that one, and then she sent me this one, which is Embroidery Christmas, which is so cute. And again, calls for DMC. So thank you so much, Nikki, if you're watching this. I don't know if you're still watching, but I have like some plans of things I need to do before the end of the year, but I might need to sneak Christmas Garden in, because I really love this one. So, okay, so those were my 2 patterns I got from Nikki. And then last, Stitchy Kindness, my friend Melissa, she is on Instagram as Starla Stitcher. And she used to do Flosstube, but not so much anymore because she was local to me. So Melissa lived here in Colorado, but she moved to Idaho at, when was it? I think it was like I want to say it was the beginning of the year, but maybe it was actually the end of 2019. Might have been like November last year. Anyway, she moved to Idaho. But she's still an honorary Colorado Stitcher. And she sent me this Plum Street George Decorates for Martha. And she had this as like the Dying to Stitch Club originally, but it has since been released to everybody. And she finished this. So she sent it on to me. Okay. And then, so that's all the stitching stuff. I just want to talk real quick about plans. So for 2021, I've already told you guys in my last video how I am planning on challenging myself to do no starts for 90 days in 2021 because I know I cannot do the whole year. There's no way. And I know that 30 days, like if I just did a month, that wouldn't be enough of a challenge. So I think 90 days will be hard, but I know I can do it. Any longer than that and I'll just give up and I won't accomplish it. So for 90 days in 2021 at the beginning of the year, no starts. And so that's why I need to get a few things started before the end of this year. But I'm not like going crazy. I'm not going to start like 40 things. Like I have like 5 things I want to get started because I don't want to have to wait until April 2021 to start them. But one other thing I decided was, so not starting anything for 90 days means I'm going to be very focused on getting some whips done. So whip is a work in progress. So basically any cross stitch that I've started but just haven't finished, of which I have many. So I really want to make 2021 like a focus on that. And so I was inspired by Erin, 2 Martini Stitcher, because what she does is she does something called a whip birthday. So she has logged like the day that she started a project, and then when that anniversary comes around, she always gets that project out and works on it that day. And she can work on it any other time she likes as well, but she makes sure that she works on it on its birthday. And so I want to do that in 2021. So luckily, I have always kept a list of all of my works in progress, and I've always kept track of when I started them. So I had all that information handy. So I got myself a cheap little 2021 calendar, and I wrote on the calendar all of my whip birthdays. And there's some that are doubled up, but for the most part, they're not. For the most part, they are quite scattered. But in January, I do have 2 days where there's a double. And what I might do for that is like, I might cheat a little bit and I might work on one like a day before or something, just so I'm not trying to work on 2 things on the same day. But like in February, I only have 1. And then in March, I only have 1. So, you know, there's definitely some months where I don't have a lot of whip birthdays that I need to honor. May is Mania, so May's a little tough. I have quite a few in May. But anyway, that's what I'm going to be doing in 2021. I'm going to take a page from Erin's book and I'm going to do whip birthdays through the whole year. Okay, so that's all the stitching. I do want to talk some books. If you're not interested in the book talk, that's totally fine. I'm just going to talk about books and then I'm going to leave. So you can click off now and you're not going to miss anything. But if you want to hear about books, I've got some thoughts. I've got some thoughts about books. So in my vlog, I talked about some books that I was reading for my blog. Or my vlog, not my blog. Anyway, I did in that video, my last video, I did talk about a book I had read, A Deadly Education. However, I rambled on for like 15 minutes about it, and my thoughts were not coherent or organized, and I ended up cutting it all out because that video was so long. So I'm going to give it another try. Let's hope I can talk about this coherently this time. So A Deadly Education is the first book in a brand new series. I don't know if she said how many books are going to be in this series, but I'm guessing it'll be more than, I don't think it's like a trilogy. I think it's going to be several. The author is Naomi Novik, and I have read a few of her books and I absolutely love her. So I had to pick this up immediately. But even more intriguing than knowing it was coming from an author that I enjoy is that this book is touted as a dark magic book. yes, please sign me up. So this book introduces us to like a whole new world of magic. But it's a magic school, so a deadly education, because it's a deadly magic school. So in this world, there are non-magical people like us, right? But then there are people who have magic. So the way that the magic works in this world is that when you go through puberty, you start like exuding magical energy, and like it's like a beacon, like you're a beacon of gorgeous magical energy. And there are malicious magical creatures who will come and try to kill you, to like eat and absorb your magical energy. So you can be attacked by these malicious creatures at any point in your life, but when you're going through puberty in your teenage years, you're extra like enticing to these malicious creatures. And so as a coping strategy, the adults in this world have created a magical school where they send all of the pubescent kids to this school so that they're all like safety in numbers. Basically, they send them all away so that they're not constantly being attacked by these awful creatures. And then the creatures flock to this one location where all the pubescent kids are, right? And then try to like kill them, basically. So it's a deadly education because they are constantly fending off things that want to kill them. The school has some safeguards in place to like try to keep them alive. Like they don't just send them there as sacrificial lambs, but they kind of are a little bit. But like there are some things at the school like to try to keep them safe. So like when they all have like their own rooms, which are sort of like cells, and when they get in their room and they ward their room, like they're pretty okay. Like they aren't going to die if they've done their wards right. Every so often, like a hellfire comes through and like scours the school. Like they cordon off the kids, and then they run the fire through and it kills, a lot of the creatures. So, but they're kind of like vermin or pests where they come back. So they kill them off, they get an exterminator in there, but then like they come back. So basically like the survival rate of graduating through this school is like 25% or something. So like most of the kids die. So it's a dark, gruesome little book. But it's very interesting. So this book has had some criticism because, I think when you're trying to create a series in a world, it's a really fine line of creating this world, right? You have to do something called world building. So you have to explain the magic to us or show us the magic. And you have to give us this information, but like you're also trying to do it while, there's advancing the plot and just like keeping us entertained. And one thing that happens a lot in this book is you just get a lot of information about the magic and how the magic works. And it just kind of is dumped on you. She does try to like intersperse action, but it's a lot of like just info. And so a lot of people didn't like this book because they felt like, it's just like nothing's happening. She's just explaining magic to us the whole time. Valid criticism. But I do think that's a growing pain of like book one, because I think with the future books, like we got all that out of the way and now we can just like enjoy the story. So I think it was never going to be like a 5-star read for me, but the overall series might get there. It might be that good. But you just have to go through that like introduction phase. I personally love hearing and reading about stuff like that. Like I've read all the Tolkien, like Lord of the Rings, like backstory. Like I've read all of them. So I like that world building, like what other people consider kind of like superfluous, boring stuff. Like, I like it. So I didn't mind her explaining how the magic works. But it's a valid criticism that I do understand, but I liked it. There's a lot of drama about this book about this is where I got hung up on my last video trying to explain. There is some drama about this book because of the way that certain cultures or races are represented, and it's really hard for me to speak up to it as like a white girl. It's very easy for me to be like, I didn't see it. What are they talking about? But that's how I felt. Like, a lot of it I think was totally unfounded, like people just reaching. But I'm a white girl, so what do I know about it? But I did read reviews from many people of color who were like, yeah, no, that's a reach, guys. Like, no. So if that's something it could be bothersome to you, maybe like read some reviews about that whole situation before you go into this book. There was one passage that was problematic. The author did address it. She did apologize sincerely. And I do truly believe that her intention was harmless. But I do see the criticism of it. When you read it, you will know it's a passage about dreadlocks. So she did admit, like, whoops, I screwed that up. And I think then from there, people went digging, and then they were like, oh, and this one time she was talking about these kids from, that spoke Mandarin, and she said, so I think people just started to reach for things that maybe weren't there, because of the one problematic paragraph. But again, if that's something that would be bothersome for you, like, just maybe do a little research before you go in. But I enjoyed that many cultures and ethnicities were represented in this book. The main character in this book, Elle, is very, very, very unlikable. However, she's also just trying to survive, right? Like, she's just trying to survive. But I know, and I've talked about this before, some people cannot enjoy a book if they don't like the main character, or if they don't relate to them, or if they're not, like a good person. And so I do think that some of that mixed review with this book is also because people just maybe don't like the character, therefore they can't enjoy it. I love reading about an asshole, so I liked it a lot. Not a 5-star read, but a really good setup, and I'm really excited for the rest of the series. So I very much enjoyed it. Okay, and then in my vlog, I was reading Fangirl by Rainbow Rowell, and I didn't finish it like while I was doing my vlog, but I finished since then. This is, I don't think it's young adult. No, maybe it is. It's a young adult contemporary, but she's a freshman in college, so she's not like, it's almost like a new adult, I would say. Okay. This book was so cute. I loved this book. So Rainbow Rowell. I was introduced to Rainbow Rowell when I read a book called Carry On last year, which I absolutely loved so much. And now I really want to reread it after I read this. So Carry On is hard to describe, but Carry On was born out of this book. So this book actually came first. This book is about a girl named Kath who lives in Nebraska, and she goes off to college at University of Nebraska, which is a big party school. And she has been a quiet, introverted high school student. And so it's about her like adjusting to college life. But the big thing about Kath is she writes fan fiction for a universe of a magical school. It's like a Harry Potter kind of universe. And her whole like last several years of her life have been about writing fan fiction in this universe. And so this book is about her kind of outgrowing that a little bit, kind of like learning to form relationships with people in real life instead of in online friends in fiction. And I could really relate to that because I had that same issue in college. I did not write fan fiction, but I don't know. I could really relate to Kath a lot, actually. And so there's a really, really, really cute romance in this book. It was just so cute. It was really good. So I don't read a ton of contemporary young adult because I tend to gravitate towards fantasy. However, the last couple of contemporary young adult books I've read, I've really, really, really enjoyed. So I think it's a genre that I definitely need to explore a little bit more. Ultimately, I've discovered I love Rainbow Rowell. I love her writing. It's witty, it's cute, it's funny, it's great. She's delightful. This book was delightful. I loved it. So the next book I read was an ebook, so I don't have a picture. But I read the second book in a trilogy from Catherine Arden, and it's called, the actual series is called the Winter Night Trilogy. The first book was, I can't think of it. It's gone. What was the first book called? I don't know. The second book was called The Girl in the Tower. I don't remember what the first book is called. Oh, the first book was The Bear and the Nightingale. That's right. The first book was The Bear and the Nightingale. The second book was The Girl in the Tower. And the third book, I can't remember. Something about night, I think. So, anyway, these are adult, they're classified as adult fantasy, but the protagonist, Vasya, is, in the first book, she's a child. And in the second book, she's a young adult. So they feel like they're younger, but they're adult. But anyway, these books are so good. I loved the first book and I loved the second book, and I cannot wait to read the third book. So they're fantasy novels, but they're set more in like a more magical realism. Like they're not super fantastical. But they're set in medieval Russia, which at the time was not Russia. It was just like territories, and they were actually under the rule of like the Khan in Mongolia. Like they were, I can't think of the word. They were territories of Mongolia. So in the first book, we meet Vasya, who is just a young Russian girl. And her dad is a lord, but they live in a very remote, like rural, edge of the forest kind of place. And so they are not well to do. Like they're eking out survival. They live in, it's basically like Siberia. So it's always cold. Things are, below freezing, snowstorms, ice storms, a rough, rugged terrain, very lethal. People are starving in the winter. And in the first book, we just kind of grow up with her. She has an ability, like a magical touch, where she can see like old gods and demons. So like Russian folklore, like Baba Yaga, the Kikimora, like kind of those classic like Russian fairy tales. Like she can actually, like, turns out they actually exist, and she can see them and she can talk to them, whereas everybody else really can't, because they've kind of like forgotten them. So the creatures are fading as people believe less in them. They're losing their power and they're fading. And so the first book is about kind of exploring all of that. And then in the second book, she has left her village and she is basically in what would be present day Moscow, but at the time is just still like quite a small town. And she is, I don't know like how to explain it without like spoiling things, but she's on a new adventure. So it's a different location, it's a different feel, but still so good. The author, Catherine Arden, just writes so beautifully. Just very lush, very, you get a real like strong sense of where you're at, like the setting. It's a perfect book to read in the winter because it's like icy and cold and she's freezing. And Vasya is a very compelling, interesting main character. She's brave and she's smart and she, what's the word I'm looking for? Like, she's honorable. And there are all sorts of new characters that we get to meet, and it's a great book. It was delightful. So you should, I 100% recommend that trilogy, and I haven't even read the third one yet, but I've heard it's amazing. So like, it's not one of those where people were like disappointed with the conclusion. Like, I have heard very good things. So I'm very excited to read the third one. I don't know when I'm going to, but it might be sooner than later. The last book I read was not good. It was terrible. I read the novella from A Court of Thorn and Roses by Sarah J. Maas. This is A Court of Frost and Starlight. Now, this is the last book I'm going to talk about. If you are currently reading this series, the next book comes out, I think, in February. So if this is a series you're reading and you don't want to be spoiled, turn it off now. This is the last thing I'm talking about, and then I'm leaving. If you've already read it or you don't care to be spoiled, then just keep listening. The thing is, I cannot talk about this book without spoilers, and so that's why I'm telling you, like, leave if you don't want spoilers. So A Court of Thorn and Roses consisted originally of 3 big-ass books. And at the end of the third book, it seemed like we had a little resolution, like Feyre and Rhysand defeated the big bad and all was well. But there were some loose ends that still needed tied up. You know, some secondary characters. Maybe we needed to know a little bit more about what happened with them. And I think that that's what's going to be, the next books are going to be, you know, kind of a continuation. This novella was completely useless. Nothing happened. Nothing happened. Nothing. Not one thing. You know, I would think this novella would be a way to like kind of set up some things that are going to happen in the new books. You know, like kind of, you know, lay some groundwork. But no, nothing happened. What happened in this book? Feyre tried to figure out what Christmas presents she was going to buy for all her friends. Yeah, that was it. At the end, she decided her present for Rhysand was that they would go off birth control and try to have a baby. That was it. That's all that happened. Nothing else happened in this book. It was stupid. It was stupid. Am I going to read the next one? Hell yeah. Hell yeah. I'll be getting it the day it comes out. Yes. This book was dumb. I'm just saying. Like, the series, it's trash and I love it. But this book really served no purpose, like, at all. It's just stupid. Even like I wanted, okay, so Nesta, Feyre's sister, and Cassian, who's part of the inner circle, he's an Illyrian warrior. He has big wings and a big you know what, allegedly. The wine, guys, it's the wine. Okay, so anyway, I'm like dying to know what's gonna happen with Nesta and Cassian, because like, you know, like there's something there, like something needs to happen. But Nesta is so mean and so closed off, and she needs to like work through all that and let Cassian in. Okay, so I ship it hard. I ship them hard. And I was really hoping that this book was going to have a lot of that, but we got like one little chapter and like nothing really still happened between them. So that was very disappointing. But the next book is supposed to be very Nesta heavy, or maybe even like all Nesta. So like, I think I'm going to get what I need from that book. The other thing I want to just like throw out there. Okay, what is going on with Elaine, Lucian, and Azriel? What is that? Because Elaine and Lucian are mates, okay? So they're supposed to be together. But there's something there with Elaine and Azriel. And like, I ship it hard. Like, Azriel needs something good in his life, okay? So like, I'm thinking, I was telling Carla, my friend Carla, Rolodex Stitches, she's read the books and we were talking, and I'm like, so like, Lucian has to die, right? Like, he's gonna have to die. That's the only way this is gonna work. So I think he's gonna like sacrifice himself to save Elaine because she's his mate. And that'll be like the thing he does. It's his redemption. But then he'll be gone. He will die. And then her and Azriel can be together. Who's with me? I know some of you out there are with me on this. I actually really like Lucian. It's not that I want him to die. I like him a lot, actually. He was my favorite character in A Court of Thorn and Roses. But him and Elaine, I don't see it. I don't see it. But Elaine and Azriel, I'm here for it. I am here for it. And Moore needs to find somebody, right? Like, Moore needs love too, because she's the best. What else about this group do we want to talk about? I feel like there was something else. You know who I don't care about? Feyre and Rhysand. I do not care about them at all. I just need to know what everybody else is doing. Oh, I know what I want to talk about. Tamlin. What is up with Tamlin? Okay, like, first of all, total character assassination, okay? In the first book, Tamlin was fine. And then in the second book, he's like abusive, crazy boyfriend. Okay, sure. But man, this book was like, kick him when he's down, man. This guy is like down and out. And they're just like, you had it coming. Which, I don't know, did he? What's up with Tamlin? Like, what's happening there? Like, is he gonna, does he get a redemption arc? Is he gonna do something good? I mean, I thought he kind of had a redemption arc when he saved Feyre in the last book, and then he saved Rhysand and gave him like a drop of his power or whatever. I was like, be happy, Feyre, be happy. Like, I thought that was good. I thought like, oh, cool, we can all be friends now. But then in this book, he's like living in squalor with no friends, and Feyre's like, ha ha ha, you deserve it, ha ha. Like, I don't know. I feel bad for Tamlin. I really liked Tamlin in the first book. And then I feel like she did him wrong. So I'm really curious what's going to happen with Tamlin. What's he up to? But the most important thing is, what is Nesta up to? Because she is a queen and I love her. And I cannot wait for the new book. Again, I think it comes out in February. I'll be getting that day of. Super excited. So as you can tell, I like would love to talk about this with anybody like who's read it. Like, let's talk, because I have a lot of thoughts and feelings about this. not just this book, but like the whole series. So just leave me a comment if you want to talk some more. All right, that's all I've got. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.